Hey everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera Show. Today I am so excited to be highlighting my hometown of Augusta, Georgia. And I'm going to introduce you to two of my favorite people and 5 of my younger grandchildren. We are going to have the best time today. So the recipes that we're making are all featured in the holiday issue of Augusta magazine. We're going to start with a holiday baked fruit. You know how I am about those old school recipes that I put a twist on. Well, this is one of those that's going to be your new favorite. Then we're going to do Bitsy Spankin vegetable beef soup. Bitsy's my older sister. Her daughters say, Mama's soup is spanking good. So that's what I actually named it in the cookbook. And then Pluck-It cake is a family favorite. All of my children make it for their family. It is so great, and that's what the grandchildren are going to do. So my guests today are Ashlee Duren. She is the publisher of Augusta magazine. Cannot wait for you to meet her. And then Bennish Brown is the president and CEO of Destination Augusta. So I think you're going to really enjoy meeting them. So let's get in the kitchen with Ashlee and get started on that holiday baked fruit. All right, so I have already got my guest, Ashlee Duren, busy. She is crumbling the coconut macaroons that are going in the holiday baked fruit. I am so happy to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
I mean, we have just worked together for such a long time, and you're always so interested in what we're doing on the show. But as one of your contributing editors in the magazine, it just made perfect sense for you to join me for this one.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
All right, so we are doing this holiday baked fruit, but before we really get into this, and I appreciate you finishing that,
Sure.
Tell the audience a little bit about what you do and all the wonderful things.
So I'm publisher at Augusta magazine. I've been there about 10 years, and so I am responsible for all the parts of the publication. So everything from edit and content to design to advertising, all of it. So, and I just love it. It's a great job. Never 2 days are the same, so it's wonderful.
And y'all, she looks like this all the time.
Not true.
I mean,
True.
Everything that she says she does, I know for sure she's doing. And when you think about it, you know, determining what the stories are going to be, deciding who's going to do what, editing, just that in and of itself is a huge responsibility.
It is, but I have a great team that helps me out. So, and we really just try to tell the stories of the people and places and businesses that call Augusta home. So we're very fortunate to have a lot of great people.
And then Athens as well.
And then I have Athens magazine as well. So yeah, it's a great job.
It is,
like
it's wonderful. Well, you know for years, because some of the different recipes we've been doing for a long time in the magazine, I'll take some old school recipe from the 40s and make it new. And so that's kind of what I'm doing today.
Which I am awe-inspired by.
You know, I love it. So what we've got here is like a medium-sized 2.5 quart casserole dish that we've sprayed. And I'm going to ask you to put 1 thin layer of the coconut macaroons. And this dish is so great with like a ham or pork chops or pork loin. I mean, it's even great with turkey. And so it's just a little different. So what we've got here, the original recipe, you had your can opener.
Right.
I mean, you were opening up a can and draining it. So this is fresh peaches from Pearson Farm that have been frozen.
Okay.
So when they are in season, Pearson will freeze them. And so we are able to use them throughout the year in some of the recipes that we do. So we're going to do 1/3 of each of these fruits. Then these, of course, are Bartlett pears, which are very much in season this time of year. So that works out great. And I do like to peel the pears.
Okay.
You know, of course, if you're using a can, there's no peeling. Okay, next we've got pineapple chunks. And again, this time of year, those pineapples are sitting
Absolutely.
at the fresh market in the produce department, and they're just the right size. Next is Cosmic Crisp Apple. Now, are you familiar with Cosmic Crisp?
I am not. I've only seen it in the magazine.
This apple, we did a whole show on it a few weeks ago. It doesn't turn brown, and this is clearly defines
Absolutely.
that. And then we have blackberries, so now we're getting a little colorful.
Which I love.
I love these too. And they're nice and juicy and pretty.
Absolutely.
And then we've got Elliott halves from Pearson. So Pearson helps us with peaches and pecans.
Okay,
And this time of
wonderful.
year, there's so many things that you can use with that. All right, so now we're going to do another layer
Okay.
of the coconut
All right.
macaroons.
We got
You got
a big chunk
big
right
old
there.
chunk,
That's
and
right.
I
We'll
would
break that
love
up
to eat
real
that.
quick.
And so I'm going to just let you just continue
Okay.
to layer.
Wonderful.
And you know, Ashlee, in talking about the different things that you do, of all the magazines that you do throughout the year, which one is the biggest and the one that you work the longest on?
Of course, the Masters issue, which is our April issue. It's more than 250 pages and has a ton of advertising in it, and we work on it for probably about 3 or 4 months, honestly, altogether.
Oh, gosh, well, it's beautiful.
Thank
And
you.
the magazine that is this recipe is going to be in, it's the holiday issue.
It is.
And we're going to talk more about that in presentation, but it is just chocked full of wonderful stories. We've got these recipes today in there. So we're going to continue to layer this together, and what we're going to do at the end is we've got this, our oven preheated. This is going to bake, and the sherry and butter, if you make this in advance the day before,
Okay.
you don't want to do that step until the very end. So y'all come back with us in just a few minutes. Ashlee, thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for
for
getting
having
this
me.
together for me. And then we're going to meet Bennish Brown, who you know very
I do.
well, who is the CEO of Destination Augusta. He's going to make soup with me. So
Wonderful.
come back with us in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody, and if you're just joining me, we are celebrating Augusta Holiday, celebrating my hometown. We have an amazing baked fruit in the oven that just smells completely amazing. But I have another very special guest. This is Bennish Brown. Bennish is the president and CEO of Destination Augusta, and we've been friends for a while now.
Yes, we have.
But we've never been in the kitchen together.
No, this is a wonderful
And
opportunity.
you said vegetable soup was right up your alley. All right, so I'm going to let you stir that about while I finish getting these beef shanks cut up. But while you're doing that, Destination Augusta, of course, is very familiar to me. But tell our audience exactly what that is and what your role is there.
Well, Vera, I think this story might help. Every day, millions and millions of people leave their house to travel somewhere for some reason. Might be family getaways, could be friends, trips. There's a conference for everything, so it could be conventions
absolutely.
and conference. Our job is to get a piece of that business and bring it here to Augusta. So Destination Augusta markets this city, and we want to make sure when people have a decision to make that Augusta is a part of that choice.
Well, and you know, of course, everybody, I feel like, knows that we have a big golf tournament that takes place here.
Yes.
But there's several other things that take place here throughout the year. Could you indicate any of that?
We certainly have a lot of other opportunities, and it ranges from a wonderful arts festival in the fall. We have one of the best, I would say, Ironman, so from
yeah.
sports. And then in July, we host a basketball tournament of the top high school players across the country. So we do a lot of things where the country gets to look at Augusta.
Oh, well, and we're so proud of it. All right, so this recipe, Bennish, these are recipes that are featured in this holiday issue of Augusta Magazine. Ashlee and I did the holiday baked fruit. And this is my older sister, Bitsy. This is what her daughters say is Bitsy's Spankin vegetable beef
I
soup.
love that name.
And I think once you taste it, you're going to know how they came up with that. So let me go over quickly what I had to do to get to this point right here. All right, so we started with the Dutch oven. We put the beef shanks in there. So the recipe will give you all the ingredients, exactly what you need. The beef shanks and the salt and the beef broth. And then you bring that to a boil, and then I cut up all these additional vegetables, celery, carrots, Schumann Farm onions, which are amazing. And just recently, I went to Atlanta and did their trade show with them. It looked like the Sanford Stadium. It was just fantastic. Crushed tomatoes, diced tomatoes, fresh parsley, basil, thyme, black pepper, tomato paste, and Worcestershire sauce. And then that cooked for 2 hours.
Wow.
And I mean, literally, it was up to here. So then I removed the shanks and cut those up, and I've added those while we were standing there. So now you grew up in South Carolina, and you said you are very familiar with these vegetables.
I sure did. And there was not a time I'd go to my grandparents' house and we didn't have variety of fresh vegetables just like this. So this is wonderful.
All right, so I'm going to add, and you're going to stir. So these are the lima beans or butter beans. So we're going to get those in. And these are also all frozen vegetables. So, you know, think about most of the ingredients that I just named. Most people have those in the refrigerator.
Yes.
But then you could keep little bags of this in the freezer, and you could make this at any time. I will say on the beef shanks, a lot of times you have to let your butcher know that you want those because they're not always readily available. Fresh Market is where I picked those up. All right, so we've got peas, corn. Now we've got fresh okra.
Did you eat okra as you were growing up? It took
no.
me a while. Yeah, right, exactly.
You have to develop a taste
That's
for that.
right, yes.
All right, then we've got barley. So that's your carb. And then we've got tomato sauce. All right, so just stir that about.
And it's raised the level of this pot right back up.
I mean, it makes a lot. All right, so this is Montreal seasoning. And if you're not familiar with that, you need to try it, especially on a steak. And then we've got salt. All right, so this is going to cook down for another hour. And we're going to let that happen, and we'll be right back. All right, so look here. I mean, is that just beautiful? I mean, this is the best soup, and that extra hour, and it really makes so much. So, you know, Bennish, as we wrap this up, tell our viewers what to do if they want to come to Augusta.
I think a great place to start, Vera, to explore Augusta is start on our website, visitaugusta.com. Our events page or things to do is the most popular part of our website, and it really does give visitors and local people a glimpse of what's happening in Augusta, how energetic this city is. It's a great place to start, and then you can get more specific after
Well, Bennish, I cannot thank you enough for being my guest today. It's just been wonderful. And when we come back from the break, I'm going to introduce everybody to 4 of my grandchildren. I think you know them all.
Absolutely.
So that's going to be really fun. So we'll see you back in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody, and I am so excited to introduce you to 4 of my grandchildren. I have Lucy, Tucker Banks, McClendon, and Ward. And y'all love to make Pluck-It cake, right?
Of course. It was so good.
I'm telling you. So we are going to make a family favorite today. So I had a little bit of work I had to do before y'all got here. Let me talk about it. So the sauce that's in front of you in the measuring cups, I made ahead of time because you do that on top of the stove. So I melted the butter and the brown sugar, and I put cinnamon in it and nutmeg. So that is really what you smell so much when it's baking, right?
It really does smell good.
I'm telling you. All right, so usually we make the great big one, but this time we're making little ones, so each one of you get to take one home. But you can't eat it all at one time, right?
No promises.
Only eat a little bit.
Yeah, we're only going to eat a little bit today. All right, so what you all did in advance was we had our pan sprayed with the pan spray, and then you opened up the biscuits and you cut each biscuit into 4ths, and you've got half of it in your pan right now. So now the fun part, you're going to take your spoon and you're going to stir up your sauce, okay? And then we're going to blob half of that on your biscuits, okay? So let's take a little bit of the spoonful and go on top of your biscuits with it. Just blob it on top. You got it? Let me see if I can stir this up just a little bit. So you're just going to take it and just shake it off, just like that. Just kind of shake it off. Oh, that's good, yes. So we're going to do about half of that. So this recipe is very specific on brands. So there is a certain biscuit that my family has determined is the best to make this recipe. So if you're planning to make this for the holidays, go ahead and get those biscuits before they're sold out in the grocery store. All right, so about half of that is what you're going to do. And then we've got the oven preheated at 300 degrees. So a lot of people call this recipe monkey bread. Have y'all ever heard of monkey bread?
Well, I've heard of it, but I did not call it that.
Well, we call it Pluck-It cake. Why do we call it Pluck-It cake?
Because we pluck it out.
Because we pluck it, right? You just walk by the cake on the counter and you pluck it. All right, so if you think you've got about halfway done, then go ahead and start doing your other biscuits. And Tucker Banks, let me help you just a minute get the rest of this on there so you can start putting your biscuits on, okay? Okay, Lucy, how old are you?
I'm 11.
Tucker Banks, how old are you?
4.
How old are you, McClendon?
I am 9 years old.
And Ward, how old are you?
7.
And Lucy, where do you go to school?
I go to school at EDS.
Okay, Tucker Banks, where do you go to school?
Airport.
And where do you go, McClendon?
St. Mary's, which is the best school.
Okay, now start putting your biscuits. And where do you go, Ward?
To Lake Forest.
So Granny B sometimes picks y'all up to go to school, right?
Tons of times.
And we have a lot of fun in the car together. All right, so this is one of those recipes that you can get all of your ingredients out, like get the butter, get the brown sugar measured, get your cinnamon and nutmeg measured, and then on Thanksgiving morning or Christmas morning when you want to make this, all you have to do is turn that saucepan on. It's fine sitting on top of the stove until it's ready. Okay, let me help you. And then the morning of, you just preheat that oven when you first get up. And then as everybody starts waking up to either watch the Macy's Day Parade or to get ready for Christmas, okay, let's put the rest of the biscuits next. All these biscuits go in there. Okay, can you put all of those in? And then as I said, throughout the day, you're gonna pluck, pluck, pluck away. All right, so we're gonna get these in the oven, and when we come back from the break, we're gonna walk back through what we did today with our other two guests, and hopefully these cakes will be almost ready. So we'll see you back in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody, and we've had the best time today celebrating Augusta and celebrating the holidays. I've had great guests, and we've had a lot of fun with the recipes. So let's walk back through what we did today. We started with the holiday baked fruit, just a great recipe. The main thing you had to have to make it back in the day was a can opener, because all of the fruit came right out of a can. But in preparation for my second cookbook occasions, we decided to make it all with fresh fruit. So we had some beautiful fruit today, including peaches that were frozen during peach season from Pearson Farm. So Ashlee Duren was my guest today. She did a great job with the recipe. She's the editor of Augusta Magazine, and we had a great time in the kitchen. She added the sherry and butter right before it went in the oven. So that's my tip to this recipe, is that you can make it the day before, but be sure to put the liquid on right before it goes in the oven. Once it came out of the oven, we didn't want to just serve it in a plain old white casserole dish. We decided to put it in my grandmother's gorgeous china casserole bowl. And it looked so pretty on a platter, and we decided to garnish with the whole fruit that's actually in the casserole. So that turned out beautifully. The next recipe we did was the Bitsy Spankin vegetable beef soup. Bitsy is my older sister. This recipe, her daughters say, is spankin' good. So I decided to name it that in the cookbook. My guest today to do this was Bennish Brown. He's the CEO and president of Destination Augusta. He knows everything about our city. And we had a great time working together. The soup just ladles up beautifully in a wide-rimmed soup bowl. It also makes for a great gift. You can put it into a ball jar, put the lid on it, a piece of pretty fabric, great for your neighbors during the holiday times. And then it also freezes well. Just be sure you mark the container with what it is, because sometimes you can't tell the difference between soup and chili, and put the date on it, and it will last in the freezer for about 6 months. All right, then my grandchildren joined me to make Pluck-It cake, and they're also familiar with this recipe because we make it during the holidays, and they each made their own little individual one. And in Augusta Magazine, I give you step-by-step directions on how to do this. All right, so as the contributing editor for the food part of Augusta Magazine, you can always find my recipes there. But this particular issue for the holidays pays tribute to the late Cat McCall. The cover is so beautiful. She did this rendering in 2017. They opted to use it again for this particular issue. She also did all of the illustrations for my cookbook, all of the chapter covers, the tops of each of the recipes, just a beautiful job that she did on our book. And as always, our recipes are available on our website at VeryVera.com. Throughout the year, you can find most anything there. And as I always say on the Very Vera Show, no matter what you do,
Do it in good taste.